Finally, we have actual game developer stepping out and spoken against forcing DI into games. But then again, we now have gamers stepping out and saying that they want DI in games. Hello there, how's it? Ame Gakita desu. Normally before we start like today random chat saying like what topic about this and that, and I will kind of like end it with the judgment, saying like how do I feel about it, what is my take on it. Sometimes it can be neutral, sometimes it can be like just one point, and at the end of the day it will be a speculation. But this time around it's a little bit different, because yes, this time around the topic is going to be still the gaming topic, but one thing I will actually have to give out in one take is that it seems right now that finally that the good, so-called the good and base game developer are finally stepping up to spoke against forcing DI into games. But at the same time, it seems like because there are people stepping out to speak against it, especially from the game developer side, which means that the game developer now in a way is being protected. It means that there are people who are trying to protect the title game developer. And for some people, because they couldn't like smear it badly, where do they target? Because they will also realize that if people are now attacking the game company, attacking the game developer, who are they going out for? Just be the gamers. If you can't fight them, join them. And in this case, I would definitely, in this today's topic, would be also highlighting that maybe some people out there who is activities or people who is doing in bad faith and trying to paint themselves as gamers and wanting DI in games. So yes, today's topic is about gaming, and as much as I want to like bash on both sides, you do have to understand that I only bashing the bad faith, the double standard, the people who is doing things in bad intention. And it's always been how I go about, because I tend to be neutral in a way, tend to be okay. It doesn't mean that I always neutral. There are times when I do take a side. And then the thing is, right, one of the things I do realize in recent time is that there are actually game developers who are now stepping out to finally say that enough is enough. We need to speak out. And I think that's a very good thing, because I actually been calling out for this in quite a long while, saying like why I can't trust some Westerner, and in that topic was game developer. And one of the things I do mention a lot of time was basically simply that there are some game developer creating game in bad faith and then name themselves as game developer, and because people love to generalize stuff, so when one bad game developer call out for like having DI in games, saying that it must be in games, and then oh no, everyone have the wrong conception that every game developer is of the same issue. What doesn't help is that there was not just one or two, there was like company including like Ubisoft themselves, or even like in Japan there is a Square Enix with a little bit of those kind of people with DI ideology in the game company that go with the idea that now people just thinking that hey, if one or two game company have this, it means that many other company have the same thought. So when you have that issue, obviously you will have the issue on that. Maybe that is the game company, the game developer as a whole. But again, like I mentioned, I did mention that there are still good game developers out there, and it seems like my answer was not unheard of, because I did that video like a few months ago. So finally, that it took quite a while for some game company to finally like step out and say that they are against adding DEI. That doesn't mean that all game companies are not wanting to force DI into game. Look at Ubisoft. They have a reason talk about saying like, oh hey, we are trying to cater to the minority audience. Well, if the company feel that's on them, alright. I always mention it. It's that if people don't like the game, they won't buy the game. It's just that simple. And at the end of the day, it's really one of the moments that sometimes we have to like sit down and discuss. It's like, do you, like for the game company, do you want to sell to many people, or do you want to sell to just the minority people? If you're selling to the minority people, you can't go and complain and make an issue about saying like, hey, we just want money because we need money to stay alive. Yeah, it is going to backfire on you at the end of the day, and you can't really like say like their value is going to drop. Like Ubisoft, if you still want to save yourself, do the right thing. And what is the right thing? That is for you to debate yourself, because I'm not gonna give an answer on a silver platter and feed you with a silver spoon. The thing is, right, it's really one of the moments that sometimes people just don't understand what is the gamers, the majority gamers want. And even in so, you can't really like say that, hey, because there is a group of people wanting DI. The moment you force it in and the story doesn't make sense or it look weird to gamers, obviously there are people is going up there and say that they are going to be mad about it. And the thing is, right, there is the case about people saying like, is it the millennial destroying the game? The thing is, right, I can't really go and say that because there are base game, like there is base game developer who going around and saying that there are people who saying about DI. If you want to add DI in game, like I mentioned long ago, I mention it all the time, that is fine, but at least make it relatable, make it have sense. Like look at a lot of Japanese game itself, like sometimes they see like have character that look like trans or sometimes look like whatever along the line, it look weird, but then again as time passed by, the character personality step out, the story about the character is out, like it became something like relatable. But a lot of Western game companies just say that, hey, it must be a lesson for you to love LGBTQ, world, whatever BS along the line. That is when gamers just feel like if you want to force it down their throat, they would be against it, they will retaliate. And the thing is, right, if you think in another way around, like if people tell you to say that for LGBTQ community or to the woke people or people who is against racism against black, imagine like if there are black people racist against white, against Asian, do you call those people out? And then if people saying like people want to be straight, people want to have babies, and then you they force that ideology into you, will you retaliate? It's the same logic. So the thing is, right, it's really kind of weird at how people go with the idea saying that, hey, we must fight against each other because we want to fight. Which is the reason why I kind of like talk about this issue back then about how there are gamers in fighting. It's not about like saying like you are calling yourself gamer because you play game. There are people who is like Christian trying to say that no, we want DI to be out of game, but we don't want character to be sexualized. But then it's like they're still fighting for a common cause. It's really one of the moment that just because they have the same enemy doesn't mean they are allies. All right. So the thing is, right, I've been calling out a lot of different time, like in different point of view, like all the hypocrite in every single thing, that I myself have no allies at this point of time. There is hardly anyone watching my video. There is hardly anyone who liking my video. But those who agree with me, I thank you. Now, back to the story is that the issue why I sometimes have to call up a lot of situations is that sometimes when people say like, is it the management producing this kind of thing or is it the people with bad faith? I think at this point of time, it's like people with the bad faith stepping into game company trying to force their ideology into game and say that it's for the minority voice, it's for the minority group, and they are trying to get representative. It's good if you want to get representative. I mean, like that's a good thing because sometimes you want to have that, but when you're trying to force the minority group into the main story, trying to say that it is the main story, obviously people will find it weird. Mostly if you want it to be the main story, make it a different game, make it a different story. Let people go with the idea that it is an issue. And if you want to put it in the main game, like a franchise like Assassin's Creed or any other game, do make it as a side quest that people can relate to. Instead of like forcing it into main story and saying like, oh, it must be in the main story regardless of how you think about the line. Imagine if the other way go around it, it will end up being what you are fighting against. Like people will always find ways to fight, and in a way, if you look at the result at the end of the day, people don't like it. If you don't like it, obviously people is not gonna like it anyway. Not because you like if you like DI, you don't like think that it's not representative, then obviously people won't like DI, people won't like the so-called representative. Like if you want it, people will like it. And at the end of the day, it's the issue on that. If you want what you like, is it representative under many people's view? If many people view is not into it, then obviously you have to understand that you are in the minority group. You can't outright say that you are in the majority or you are represent the voice of the voiceless along the line. People will just be against you and it will lead to nothing. It will lead to no result. Which the reason why at the end of the day, it's really one of the moments that I always talk out like, people want good looking game character, then you have to give it to them. Like Marvel and Avenger, like Marvel and Avenger, the Kaminsky skin character look like basically that you just have a template and then you just add in some texture to it and make it a thing. Whereas like in Marvel Rival, the reason rising game along the line has so many people liking it because the character all then look badass. Like even the black character, like dude, I wouldn't mind playing this character if I play the game because it looks so damn badass and I'm not even black. The thing is, right, sometimes when you have so many even other game company or even like game company from other country now, like even Russia for some reason, are making game look good, it's really better question like, is Western games starting to flop, or is it that some game company are now trying to step up? When you kind of think about like some Western game company are now being funded by the West, not the Western, but by the Eastern, you kind of like can see that there are people trying to say that maybe it's the Western side having the ideology of DEI whatsoever, and that you still can't deny the fact that there are still the bad fake game company, the bad fake game developer, even if they are good ones. If the actual good one want to step up, they really have to like create games like just like look at this. It's like you can just see that the game for the Marvel Rival have good looking character, and one person can never say it so perfectly other than Madden Savvy, where heroes who look heroic or unachievable because they are exaggeration of human anatomy and something pleasing to the eyes. Because the thing is, right, if the hero look like average person, do you still want to trust your life to that average looking person? You want the hero to look strong, you want the character to be something that no one can be like. It's the unique out of everyone, and that is the reason why when you look at like hero, you have the idea that they are able to save anyone with their power, with their strength, with their look along the line. Hell, even if they can kill people with their look, I won't be surprised. Now at the end of the day, it's really one of the moments that sometimes we have to sit down and ask ourselves, it's like, is it that game want to be good, or is it that the game developers are now waking up? Maybe there are some good faith game developer out there that is going against this thing, and I would be so grateful if a lot of games from now on are looking great. But then again, we can't really say that there are still the bad fake game developer, because the thing is, right, what a lot of people need to understand, when some of them leave the game company, doesn't mean the game company is going to be back out and running at the same time. Sometimes the ideology, their BS stay within the game company and the damage has been done, and it's just only how the company going to do a full revamp to help themselves and say that, hey, we want not the DI, we don't want just propaganda, we won't want politics in game. It's about creating a good story, a good game character with logical thinking, and then having people able to relate to. At the end of the day, a good game is really one thing. It's not because it's created by a game company, it's also the gamers. Now, before I close off, I did mention along the line like how about gamers having like wanting DI in games. The thing is, right, at the start I have to say that the issue about why I think is bad fake gamers is because if you think about it, right, a lot of things I showed earlier, like how millennials consume but how they produce, or even like the issue like the character that have like two different character, one look very sexy, one look like average along the line. What I did not mention in those situations was that the gamers comment. Now, what a lot of people need to understand one thing is that the gamer comment is kind of interesting to see the two sides of the coin, because there is some people who love the good looking design on the left, but there are people who is defending the design on the right. Just because I say that some game company just too lazy, or they just giving the excuse that they are giving like work to new talents or new hire, and they find that creating a model is not easy, I understand. But trying to force using another reason, like instead of admitting that, hey, we got character that are or new talents that are too difficult for the new talent to do, or along the line, like if the character is hard, get a variant to do it. But the thing is, right, last time I talked about how game characters are hard to design, and it's because maybe they got new talents, new hire to do it, and then out of nowhere Ubisoft or say some other companies say, oh, it's hard because we got new hire that can't do this kind of thing. Now I'm questioning like is some of my video being watched by some of those people, because it's really ridiculous. Okay, I know they need to admit their mistake, but the thing is, right, sometimes game company or sometimes people, like even gamers themselves, when things go south, they kind of use race, sometimes use DI, sometimes use whatever as a meat shield to go and defend themselves. And even some of the people nowadays, the activities, it's like they're trying to use gamers as a way to fight against each other, or maybe trying to blend in and say that, hey, you guys start fighting, or saying like it's whatever BS, like the left one look good or the right one is good. Like, it's not about left or right anymore. It's about getting those bad gamers out, those so self-proclaimed gamers, and call them out. Those are the people that is creating the issue, because when I look at a lot of comments, it seems like those people are invading into gamers in the gaming community and trying to paint themselves as gamers, when they, in the first place, most of them may not have played any game. Maybe most of them don't even know what is a game, and they're trying to like paint like or gaslighting people into fighting against each other. Like, dude, people can use anything to manipulate people, and need to understand one thing. It's people who use those kind of excuses or using like gamers term or whatever, or game developer along the line, to make themselves as if they are gamer when they are in fact not really. It really kind of get the question, like, it really pissed me off about how sometimes when you look at comment like this, it's really like not about, hey, we want Russia being good at creating game, or like character look good along the line. When I say like the issue on like gamer infighting, there may be some people who just want to have this, but the thing is, right, when that actually happen, people will understand that, hey, maybe if we get the gamer fight against each other, maybe they will collapse. That may be what they are thinking. That's the reason why when I'm looking at a lot of comments, I need a lot of people to understand and spread this news. It's not about I'm calling out the gamer side or the game company side. It's calling out those bad fake people out. Don't generalize every single thing, even if I want to, even if you want to, or even when other people want to. It's calling those people specifically out so that we know who they are and prevent them from stepping into the community. The thing is, right, if when the so-called gatekeeping, or the so-called creation, or whatever the word is, about for the Sweet Baby Inc., their intention initially, from how I look at it, was that they are trying to warn us about game with Sweet Baby Inc. 30 hand on it. Trying to keep Sweet Baby Inc. out of gaming industry, that's the way to go. Don't attack anyone, don't go at whatever saying like this. If we need to voice it, a simple protest is fine. If Sweet Baby Inc. step into other games and say that they want DI in games, the game company have to understand, don't have DI in game, don't consult the company. Even if they are going to attack you, the gamers will protect you. Now for gamer side, if you want game to look good, if you want the game, understand the one thing is that don't attack anyone. If you like the game, by all means play the game. Just because there are some gamers who say against it like, oh, the character looks sexualized, or the character is too whatsoever, dude, tell them one thing. If you don't like the game, if it's too much for you, don't buy the game, don't play the game. It's that simple. It's always a simple solution that people always throw out into the trash, and at the end of the day, pisses me so much. I've been covering quite a few gaming topics, and I always give the strongest take that I can give. And it's always the issue is that how we have to call out the bad gamer comment, how we have to call out the bad game company, because there are good game developers out there, there are good gamers out there. If the game company really want to have a good game, understand your audience. And for gamers, if you really want to have an issue about race or whatever, take that thing out of the window and go and touch some glass. Because the thing is, right, at the end of the day, if you don't like it, don't play the game. If you like it, play the game. It's very simple. There's nothing more. But at the end of the day, it is still my speculative thought. It is still a random chat. Whether you agree, disagree, whether you think that game companies should still have DI or don't have DI, or do you think that gamers should fight against each other for some stupid reason, write in the comment section below. We can discuss that further. If not, if you do like this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe for more random chat where I talk about stuff that sometimes makes sense, doesn't make sense, or random at time. But the one thing I hope is not random for you guys is have a nice day online. Bye.